Hello, fellow G's. This is Edgar Zuniga coming at you from NAGn Studio East on a Wednesday morning as LA Galaxy prepares to take on Real Salt Lake, who currently sit in first place in the West. We are honored to have special guest and friend of the show, Alex Napoles from the RSL show on KSL. Alex, thank you so much for joining us today, even as a disembodied voice. How are you feeling with RSL currently in first place?
Hey Edgar, good to talk to you again. Thanks for the invite. And yeah, I'm feeling really, really good about Real Salt Lake right now at the moment. Top of the table, playing some really nice football. Very, very exciting things happening going on here in Sandy, Utah this year.
That's fantastic. It's been a while since we have seen a real dominant RSL team, but it seems like a lot of things came into place. I know that picking up Chicho Arango must have been a really big thing, and then we've also seen the rise of Diego Luna. Have all these things that really you think were like real vital contributions, or is there something else that's been going on?
I mean, for years and years, this team has begged for a striker. We've needed a striker, a lethal guy who can find any space on the field, who's going to get you goals. And we finally have that with Chicho Arango. So obviously, Chicho is going to be a huge part of that and a huge piece of that. But I also think it comes down to the change in the coaching staff. There was a lot of changes in the coaching staff and a lot of way that the team wanted to approach games tactically and the mentality that the team's using to approach these games. And so between adding a striker who's going to get it done for you and between changing up the way that this team plays over the offseason, I think it's made it a huge night and day difference for Real Salt Lake.
Yeah, I'm looking at the last series of matches for RSL. It's an impressive. What a resume! Gutsy victory over Sporting Kansas City over the weekend, and then before that, on the road against Philly, stealing their undefeated card, and then crushing Chicago in Chicago 4-0, and then you drew with the champs. A very gutsy draw in Minnesota, which is a tough place to play, and then taking down Salt Lake City. I'm sorry, St. Louis City down a few, a few pegs. Um, what a great run! And then here comes LA Galaxy, right, coming up on the weekend, and LA Galaxy is coming off a very strange 0-0 draw over Seattle Sounders, who haven't been themselves for a while, I want to say. Um, we have a friend of the show named Cheyenne. He covers Seattle Sounders for Rave Green TV. And he's been telling us from the very start of the season, they're trash. They're trash. They're old. They need to get some new players in there. But even though he was saying all these things going into this match, a lot of people did not predict the LA Galaxy victory. They were missing Ricky Puig and also Dejan Joveljic, who's been dealing with a nagging thigh injury. So in the end, Miguel Berry was not able to do anything for the LA Galaxy as he hasn't all season long up top. And Paint Seal and Gabriel Peck were not able to really crack that Seattle defense. Scoreless draw. Um, the funny thing, I don't know if you heard, there was an LA Galaxy fan who traveled up to Vancouver for that weekend. He went to the Vancouver game against Austin FC and saw a scoreless draw. And then the following day, he went to Seattle, and guess what? He saw another scoreless draw. So he picked up like I think like over 1,200, nearly 1,300 miles to see a pair of scoreless draws. But here comes RSL though, and the most interesting thing is not just the return of Ricky Puig, but a statistic that I shared with you right before we came on, and that is who's going to be calling the game, Alex. What did I tell you about this guy?
So, yeah, is his name Vasquez? I think his name's Vasquez.
Yes, Rubiel Vasquez.
He'll be the one officiating this match, and apparently he has a good record for the Galaxy, um,
Yep.
and not a not so great record for Real Salt Lake on the road.
Yeah. Vasquez has called 102 MLS matches, four of them, interestingly, only four, involving the LA Galaxy. Galaxy have won two of those. They've had one draw and one loss. Funny thing is, they won both of those games at home. Now, on the flip side, in six matches that he's officiated for RSL, they have yet to win on the road with Vasquez in charge. Oh my goodness. What does this mean? What did the tea leaves say, Alex?
You know, that's obviously not what I want to hear as we're getting ready for such a big game at the top of the table this weekend. But look, Real Salt Lake this season has impressed. The fan base has impressed everybody over here on the Utah side, because we weren't expecting such a hot start. And it's been a minute since this team has been battling for the top of the table. It's been a minute since this team has been battling for a top spot. Um, since 2013, Real Salt Lake hasn't had sole possession of first place. So it's been a while that we've seen Real Salt Lake have this kind of success. So we just want to ride it. Obviously, I think, look, the game against Sporting Kansas City wasn't the best performance. It was a gutsy performance at
Yeah.
home. It took a little bit of luck and a little bit of set piece magic for us to get on the board. But I think the difference is the Real Salt Lake we saw maybe last year or 2 years ago. I don't think they would have pulled out 3 points in that match. Um, I think maybe they walk out with a loss against Sporting Kansas City, but this is a different Real Salt Lake. This is a team who's been building all season long. Defensively, they look so much better than they did in the early parts of the season. Offensively, we know we have Arango and we know we can rely on Arango to get some goals. And so again, just want to ride that momentum and take it with us to obviously tonight's Open Cup match and then to the Galaxy match on Saturday.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the current status of the players because the two players that really stand out when we talk about RSL are Chicho Arango and Diego Luna. Um, I know we saw before we came on that Diego might not be available for this match, but what can you tell us about the rest of the team? Which players have really stood out this season that have propelled RSL to first place?
Yeah, look, we can talk about Arango and Luna all day long, but I think the player that has been just as important and just as vital to the success so far early this year has been Andres Gomez, who we saw glimpses of what he could potentially be last year. But I think this year he's really taken the opportunity and has really grown into his role with this team. He's still a young Colombian. He still has a lot to learn, but he is leaps and bounds better than what he was last season. And he struggles at times to find consistency, right? He scored two against LAFC early, like the third game of the year, and then didn't score again until the Chicago game 2 weeks ago. So I do want to see more consistency out of Gomez, but when he's on, he is on. He went toe to toe with Kai Wagner last week, who, in my opinion, is one of the better defenders in this league for Philadelphia. He went toe to toe with Wagner, and he looked so good on the ball and off the ball. He's been taking his opportunities better. Had the goal against Philadelphia as well. I just want to see more consistency for him, but Gomez has really stepped up and impressed so far this year.
What can you tell us about Zach McMath so far this season?
He is underrated. I think for the longest time, us over here on the show, we didn't really give McMath the credit that he deserves. But this year, he's absolutely earned it. Still shaky on the ball at times, distributing, but other than that, he is a through and through shot stopper. Him and that defense has really impressed us early. Like before the season started, me and the guys on the show talked about how we were concerned about the defense. We were worried about the defense, considering how last year ended, but defensively this team has been good. They've like I said, they've impressed us, and I think Zach McMath has been a big part of that, making some big saves, making some important saves. And right now I think he's one of the top three goalkeepers in the league as far as shots compared to goals. And so give credit where credit's due. McMath has been really, really good for us.
Okay. Also, I know that you said a lot of fans did not expect RSL to be this good this far in the season. Like you said, that victory over Kansas City, that's a gutsy victory. And like the reason I read that list of the current accolades this team has come to, but they win different ways, right? It can be a very gritty victory. You can blow out a team on the road, like Chicago, for example, or you could grind out some teams and wear them down. So it shows that RSL can beat you in many different ways, right?
Yeah,
So taking this into account, what is the general atmosphere around the stadium and with fans right now?
we do want to see better performances at home because that's where we feel like we've struggled over the course of the last 2 years. We haven't been as dominant as we have been in the past in our home stadium, and so we do want to see better results at home. But Real Salt Lake, for some reason, it's never been this way for this club ever. But for some reason, between the last season and this year, they have been good on the road. They're going to places where it's incredibly hard to play, and they're getting results. Last season, towards the end of the season, we got a 1-0 win in BMO Stadium over there for against LAFC. Earlier this year, we beat Vancouver. You obviously go into a Philadelphia who, like you mentioned, was um, undefeated, and it's a very difficult place to play in this league. But they were able to go out there and they played well against Philadelphia. Now we just need to translate that to the home matches because I feel like that's what's missing for Real Salt Lake.
Well, let's look at the current line between these two teams because when you look at LA Galaxy versus RSL, RSL has really had the run with the LA Galaxy in the last 6 matches. WhoScored.com shows us that LA Galaxy have only won once, and RSL has won 3 times. And in fact, the last time that Galaxy, the last time Galaxy beat RSL was in Salt Lake City. It was last year.
Yes.
It was a 3-2 win. It was kind of a shock. I remember it was like that time when Galaxy and RSL played 2 matches, Open Cup and MLS Cup play. I remember.
Yep.
Galaxy lost the Open Cup match, but they won the MLS match. And then during that series, we also lost Chicharito for good. That was his last MLS match. Um, but the last time, and people are wondering, the last time Galaxy beat RSL at the Dig was on May 8th, 2021. My God, it's been a while. Hopefully, our good buddy in the officiating circles there can help us a little bit there. But Galaxy, a lot of Galaxy fans can breathe a little bit easier though. Ricky Puig will be back. There's still no word on Dejan Joveljic. We checked player availability, and apparently Ed Galaxy would not unveil that report until Saturday, which is kind of late. But somebody who is back and made an immediate impact already was Jalen Neal. We saw he actually made what I feel was a goal saving stop in that match. It's good to have him in there, especially since Cáceres is undergoing he underwent surgery, which is a minor surgery, but still, you don't want to run back into a match right away. You got to give yourself a little bit of time to recover. But Jalen Neal, he came in showing very little signs of rust. I think he's only going to get better. So seeing this LA Galaxy team coming in and seeing how they've been doing all season, how do RSL fans view the LA Galaxy? Do you guys see them as like, oh my God, these guys are back, or hey, we can exploit some of their weaknesses?
We have had a Discord on our podcast about how the Galaxy, like this is probably the best Galaxy we've seen in a minute. We're very big on Pantsil. We like the way he's playing, but at the same time, from our view, from an outside view, we're looking at this Galaxy side, and we are. I don't want to say concerned, but we know we're in for a good game because last year's 2 matches, against the Galaxy, if that told us anything of what's going to come this year, it's going to be very, very exciting matches, and so we're super excited for the opportunity and excited for the matchup.
Okay, well, let's wrap this up soon because I know we have to get our work days going. But what prediction can you give us? Taking in mind Rubiel Vasquez here and the current run. What do you have to tell us, man?
So as far as predictions go, I do think Real Salt Lake, like I said, I like them right now I like them better on the road. For some reason, some way, somehow, this team has been leaps and bounds better on the road. Last home game again, going into Philadelphia, getting that tough result. I think that Real Salt Lake, depending on what the lineup is, depending on who's healthy, who's available after our Open Cup match tonight, I do think that Real Salt Lake has a really, really good opportunity to head into Dignity Health Sports Park and find a good result. I'm leaning towards a 2-1 Real Salt Lake win at the moment.
I think right now with LA Galaxy having a lot of issues trying to score. I don't know if you heard, Miguel Berry has not been the answer for us. And we were hoping that Dejan would be back at this point, but like I said, we still don't know. It might be Miguel Berry lining up top come Saturday. So if that's the case, LA Galaxy will have a really difficult time like they've had in every match in which he started. But if Dejan is back, that might change things. That might give Galaxy that might be the LA Galaxy squad we've been looking for all season. Right now, Dejan is the only one that's missing. Jalen Neal is back, like I said. and having a somebody who's a more reliable goal scorer up top makes a huge difference. Even though we like to poke holes in Deion's game because we see room for improvement with him, and we still think that he's got a lot more to learn, and we still haven't seen him in his final true form. But I'm gonna give you two predictions, right? Because we still don't know if Deion is back. If Miguel Berry starts, I think LA Galaxy will have a very difficult time trying to crack the RSL defense. And I would probably say, yeah, it'll probably be a 1-0 RSL win. If Dayon comes back, I can see LA Galaxy fighting for maybe a 2-2 draw. I think RSL, and I'm trying to be very positive here, right? This is a Galaxy show, so I see RSL is a very worthy opponent. The Galaxy has had to face test after test after test this entire season, and I know that for RSL, this is a statement match, right? This is a match where you guys are going to say, "Hey, look, we're in first. We're not here as a fluke. We're here because we fought for this and we deserve it." And LA Galaxy, meanwhile, is going to be fighting to say, "Hey, don't forget about us. We're back. We're sort of back. We're kind of back. Are we really back? We don't know back." So it'll be interesting to see what the final score is going to be. But all in all, I just hope for a very entertaining match as always. But any final words, Alex?
No, I mean, look, at the end of the day, it's the top of the table match, first versus second, heading into this one this weekend. So it's going to be a fun matchup. I really, really hope we get a very fun and entertaining game because I feel like besides, the two that we had in Sandy last year against the Galaxy, it's been a while since we've had a high stakes match against the LA Galaxy. So I'm very excited this weekend.
Oh yeah, this is your classic 6 pointer, baby, especially
Exactly.
for the fight for the top of the table. So, well, anyway, thank you everybody for tuning in. Once again, this is Alex Napoles from the RSL show on KSL. Alex, if anybody is interested in learning more about RSL or following you, where can they find you on social media?
Yeah, you can hit us up at RSL show. That is the page that we use for our show. My personal page is at Napoles Alex on X, and then Napoles Alex on Instagram. And then you can also find the RSL show on Instagram as well. Apologies for the camera. I tried to get it to work. I'm using a work computer. Didn't work out for me, unfortunately. But Edgar, thank you for the invite, man. It's always a good time catching up.
Oh man, it's always great to have you on. Once again, if anybody wants to find me, you guys know I'm Edgar Nags on Twitter, X, and also on Instagram. And thank you guys so much for joining us. And as always, keep on nagging and Wu Tang for life, baby.